Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm Alex Fullick, and we always like to talk about things related to crisis, business continuity, resilience, well being, anything that helps you, your organization, your friends, your family, or your community prepare for, respond to, and overcome adverse situations. I wanted to take some time to talk about what happened at the Oscars on March 27th with actor Will Smith going up on stage and slapping Chris Rock. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the rights and wrongs and who did what, who said what, and I'm not going to get into that. There are so many other musicians, actors, journalists, talk show hosts, podcasters, talking about the rights and wrongs about that. I wanted today to talk about what I perceive to be the lack of security, the lack of risk assessments and analysis and preparation, and the lack of crisis management. It didn't seem like any of those existed, not during, not before, and not after the situation occurred. And it's not the first time award shows have had some of these situations occur. Here's a couple. In 1998, at the Brit Awards, a member of Chumbawamba, remember that? Remember that band? Tub Thumping, I think the song was, poured a jug of water over the deputy UK Prime Minister at the time, John Prescott, who happened to be a member of the audience. That's assault. Then we had that infamous episode with Kanye West and Taylor Swift, where Kanye, or whatever he's calling himself this week, jumped up on stage and started saying that Taylor Swift, even though he loved her, she didn't deserve the award, somebody else did. So interrupting. And then, of course, we recently had March 27th at the Oscars with Will Smith getting up, being verbally abusive, as well as slapping Chris Rock across the face. So my question is, where was security? Can anybody just walk up on the stage whenever they want to? I doubt it. I doubt I could. And interrupt proceedings, and I doubt anybody else would be able to do that. But apparently, nothing stops another actor, director, or someone in the audience from doing it. Where was the security personnel? Was that even in place at all? Or are they too focused on filling seats when somebody goes to the washroom? Obviously, the Oscar committee, or whoever puts it on, really wasn't thinking about risk. They may think about the risk with technology. Oh my goodness, let's hope the microphones work. A light bulb doesn't go out, or there's not a problem with a camera, or Lord forbid, an excited actor goes over their allotted 30-second speech time or whatever it is. Nobody gave a thought that somebody can actually get up on stage and cause damage and harm somebody who's on the stage. In this case, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. And then when we find out later on, after the show, we discover that the people, the organizers, didn't really have any way of talking to each other because they were spread out through the entire facility. So if something went wrong, they weren't communicating and couldn't communicate with each other. So there's no crisis leadership, no crisis management in place. I bet you stagehands and people that were running the cameras all had communications to make sure everything rang tickety-boo, but none of the people that were responsible for the entire awards show could communicate. It just happened, and then that was it. Yes, we're hearing all kinds of conflicting stories that come out after the fact. They got together after the situation. Eventually, what do we do? What do we do? Should we do this? Should we do that? Yeah, we're hearing all kinds of different stories there. However, there was nothing in place to activate any kind of crisis protocol because they didn't have headsets, they didn't have walkie-talkies, and they were spread out all over the place. So if something happens, who's in charge? Nobody's talking to each other. That made no sense. It seemed as though there was no way of preventing anyone from walking up on stage. But I bet you on the beginning of the ceremony, or even hours beforehand, there's security up and down that red carpet so the wrong people don't end up crashing it. and getting in front of the cameras. I bet you there's security in front of the building, but there seemed to be an assumption as soon as you get in the building, everybody's safe. Not necessarily so. Obviously, anybody can just walk up and do whatever they want, which is exactly what happened. Maybe they assumed that because it was all rich, famous actors that they wouldn't hurt each other. Obviously, that's not the case. It'll be interesting to see what happens at future ceremonies. In less than 24 hours tomorrow, on the April 3rd, there is the Emmys. I wonder if there's more security in place. I wonder if they've given thought to the fact that maybe another musician, again, doesn't like the fact somebody won an award. So they crash the stage, or doesn't like a joke, or somebody says they didn't like somebody's song. Now what's to stop somebody else from just storming the stage and confronting the person who told that joke or gave that opinion? It's going to be interesting to see how some of these award shows change in the future. Are they going to be thinking about risk, and not just the risk of technology failing and not having the right amount of sponsors and things like that, but what happens with the people? What happens to the people inside once they're there? Will there be a list of behaviors? No yelling out, no swearing, no, whatever the case may be. Will there be a time delay in case it happens again? A 10-second delay in case next year Chris Rock doesn't like something Will Smith says, gets up on stage and does the same thing, or whatever. Will that change what other ceremonies do? Will they put security in place? Will they have stronger crisis management or risk management in place? It'll be interesting to see what happens. I would be interested to see on what is going to happen with these future ceremonies, especially next year's Oscars. I wonder how that's going to play out. Are they going to let anybody just walk up on stage? Are they going to have security sitting on the bottom step? You see the steps going across the entire stage. Well, to get up to the the podiums and accept awards, are they going to have security there, stopping people? Hey, this isn't your turn. You can't come up here. Or someone yells out and swears. Are they going to escort them out? But then that's going to make live TV, and that's not going to look good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I hope it's better, and I hope all of these award ceremonies and people that put them on, coordinate them, facilitate them, manage them, whatever they do, think about risk, security, and crisis management. They have to be prepared for the unexpected. Because next year, I really don't want to hear another slap. In the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.